High school, the most popular kid decided to bully the new quiet student for weeks. He thought it was just a joke. But one afternoon in the parking lot, he opened the wrong backpack, and everything changed. It started on a Monday morning at Westbridge High School. Everyone knew Ryan Carter. He was the star quarterback, the most popular guy in school, and the kind of person teachers rarely questioned. Ryan walked through the hallways like he owned the place, always surrounded by his friends. Then there was Ethan. Ethan Brooks had transferred to Westbridge only 2 weeks earlier. He was quiet, skinny, and always carried the same worn-out backpack. Most students barely noticed him, but Ryan did. It started small, a few jokes in class. Ryan would whisper loud enough for everyone to hear. "Hey Ethan, did your backpack come from a thrift store?" The class laughed. Ethan pretended not to hear. A few days later, it got worse. During lunch, Ryan and his friends sat near Ethan and started throwing little pieces of paper at him. "Hey, new kid," Ryan said, leaning back in his chair. "You know this table is for varsity athletes, right?" Ethan quietly grabbed his tray and moved to another table, but Ryan wasn't done. One afternoon after school, Ethan was walking through the parking lot when Ryan and his friends blocked his path. Ryan looked at Ethan's backpack again. "You know what?" he said. "I've been wondering what's so important in there." Before Ethan could react, Ryan grabbed the backpack and dumped everything onto the ground. Books scattered across the pavement, notebooks, a small laptop, and a folder filled with papers. Ryan picked one up and laughed. "Wait, are these scholarships?" But when he looked closer, his smile slowly disappeared. Printed at the top of the paper were the words, "National Academic Excellence Program." Ryan frowned. "What is this?" he asked. His friends leaned over his shoulder. Another page had a university logo on it, then another, and another. Ethan slowly knelt down and began picking up his papers one by one. He didn't look angry. He didn't yell. He just quietly gathered his things like it had happened 100 times before. Ryan suddenly felt uncomfortable. "Dude, are those college offers?" one of Ryan's friends asked. Ryan laughed nervously. "Yeah, right. He's like 16. But the papers said something else. One letter mentioned a full academic scholarship program for gifted students. Another talked about early admission opportunities. And one paper had a schedule for a national competition happening that weekend. Ryan looked back at Ethan. "You trying to be some kind of genius or something?" Ryan joked. Ethan finally looked up. "For the record," Ethan said calmly, "those documents are confidential." Ryan smirked. "Oh, relax, Professor." But Ethan didn't smile. Instead, he said something that confused Ryan. "You really shouldn't have touched that." Ryan shrugged and tossed the paper back into the pile. "Or what?" Ethan stood up, zipped his backpack, and walked past them toward the school building. Ryan laughed. But something about Ethan's reaction felt strange. Like Ethan knew something Ryan didn't. And the next morning, Ryan would find out exactly what that was. The next day started like any other. Ryan walked into school with his friends, expecting another normal day. But something was different. In the main hallway, students were whispering. Teachers were standing near the entrance talking quietly. And parked in front of the school was a black SUV Ryan had never seen before. "Yo, what's going on?" Ryan asked one of his teammates. "No idea," the guy said. "The principal called some kind of meeting this morning." Ryan shrugged and headed to class. But when he walked into the room, he immediately noticed Ethan sitting at the front of the class. And next to him was the principal. The entire room was silent. Ryan slowly sat down. The principal cleared his throat. "Before we start today," he said, "I'd like to introduce someone special." He gestured toward Ethan. "This is Ethan Brooks. As many of you know, he transferred here recently." Ryan rolled his eyes. "Who cares?" But then the principal continued. "And this weekend, Ethan will represent our school in the National Academic Excellence Competition." The class murmured. Ryan leaned forward slightly. "Wait, what?" The principal continued speaking. "Students selected for this program are considered among the top academic talents in the country." Now the room was completely silent. Then the principal added something Ryan definitely didn't expect. "And several universities are already competing to recruit him." Ryan slowly turned toward Ethan. The quiet kid he'd been mocking all month might actually be one of the smartest students in the entire country. And suddenly, Ryan remembered the papers scattered across the parking lot.